Three, two, one. What's up, Chance? How you doing?
Better than I deserve. How are you doing?
Yeah. Since I met you, man. Since I met you, better
Yep.
than you deserve. Yeah. What we have a lot to talk about, bro. So much. I'm glad we got to finally get on video here. We've last time I interviewed you was last year, actually around 2020 with
Yeah.
Daphne. That man, some of the Instagram stuff we got lost. Anyway, I'm not gonna go there. What's up, man? You had a question, and then I was like, you know what? Perfect time, because your question was loaded. In other words, it was a really deep question, or to me, very deep. So I was like, well, let's get into it, man.
Yeah.
What kind of questions did you have?
Yeah. So I'm essentially this is all based on the fact that whenever I recognize success, I want to emulate that, right? Like we've spoken before about two different types of people, those who see success and get jealous and run away and hide it,
Right.
and they don't want to acknowledge that they saw it. And then there's people who see it and say, how do I do that? And so that's what I'm trying to do. And so there's different people who are successful in different ways and
I
different
want to stop
things.
you. I want to stop you only for a second. I'm
Sure.
just get the word trying. I don't see you somebody that's trying. I think you do it, and the fact that you say it so clearly, and you know, from the time I met you to now, you implement things, and you've stuck to your plans. So I don't really see you as somebody that tries so much. You might want to get rid of that word,
Okay.
because it's a subtle. I don't know. It's almost like you're making yourself. It's almost like you're being polite, and it's taking away from your own power, because
Okay.
it's like saying, hey, you know what, like I try to emulate. No, like you apply yourself, and you're humble enough to listen to good advice that you feel, and you test it, and you see the results. See, there's no trying there. It's just
Right. Yeah. Just execution.
right. And so in that clarity, you see how the word try does take away a little bit from it.
Yeah. Yeah. I see.
Yeah. And so those little things, man, those little things, like I like personally like that you say better than you deserve, and you've heard my perspective on how I think you shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
And I like that you disagree and you blatantly rebel against my advice, and you say it anyway. And don't think I don't don't do you know me well enough to know? Let me ask you this: do you know me well enough to know that when you do that, I know you well enough to
You
I'm
catch it.
that you are watching me react to you, because
Yeah.
you know me. That's what I think about you. And what's funny about me and you and our engagements is, like, I'll be like, you'll say it, and I'll be like, I know he's witnessing me not like that, but like, and then it's kind of like this like circular like awareness thing that we have, and I'm like, go ahead, Charles, go ahead.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah. Yeah. Every time. Yeah. But
Yeah,
it's what I say to everybody. So, it's it would be insincere to not say it to you. And I truly do believe it. So that's why I say it.
yeah. And like I said, that is why I love it, because it's like
Yeah.
he knows full well how I feel about that, and I'm like, touche. All right.
Yeah.
So I don't, and that's what I'm saying. Please, so to the guy that I get to say, to the guy that says that at like, regardless of what anyone tells him, I'd say to that guy, he shouldn't say the word try, because he's clearly not somebody that doesn't listen to his convictions. Does that make sense? So you
Yeah.
clearly you listen to your convictions there by saying better than I deserve at all costs, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I believe that word try is either habitual or like societally, hey, be polite, it's,
Mhm.
but you'll be surprised, man. Like this word try and the word can, it's very subtly takes away from us. Anyway, man,
Yeah.
what do we,
Yeah. I appreciate that, because now that I
yeah.
say that, whenever I think of myself saying I do this and I implement it, I'm actually starting to read a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. And it explains that we become what we say we are, right? So if I started saying I'm a fat slob and I'm a pig and I'm lazy, and if I just woke up and I said that to myself every day, I'll probably become that, right? So I like what you're getting at, in the sense that don't say I try it, because if you say you try, then that kind of leaves the door open to say that you won't do it, or that you might fail. But if you just say, this is what I do, then you create the identity.
Beyond even I might fail. It's you're literally saying you're not necessarily doing it because you try.
Right.
In other
It's
words,
like saying like, oh, I'll try to get to the gym today. Those types of people.
and so I wouldn't be, look, man, I wouldn't be here on a Saturday night if I didn't think you were, you know what I mean, like somebody that picked stuff up and, you know, you weren't an implementer. Anyway, man, what question did you have about the revelation stuff you wanted me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that I write revelations, obviously. You had a question about them. What was the one question, or what was the thing?
Right. So I had a few different questions, but like I said, replicating success, right? So I try to look at fitness as holistic care. It's not just weights in the gym, although that's a huge part of it. And that's one of my biggest teachers, what we've talked about, getting under the squat rack, and all that. It's a big teacher. But holistic care, I've found that poetry and music helps me a lot too. It's not just weights. And I thought about how you talked about writing, and that, made me think that I used to love reading and I used to love writing. What happened to that? So I started doing it again. And I think that I'm very obsessed with words. It's kind of an obsession I have. I think that's a huge reason why I'm so obsessed with language learning. I'm a very specific person when it comes to like the words that you use. Like I don't like when people say, "Is this what you're?" So basically, what you're saying is this. No, because you just changed the words I said. Therefore, I didn't say that. That kind of thing. So I decided that I would replicate what you're doing. So I've kind of started writing my own revelations.
Okay. Oh shit. Okay, go on. Now you got my attention.
Yeah. And so I literally thought, what do I name it? And the first thought was that came to my mind was, oh, I'm not going to write revelations because I don't want to copy. And then the second thought that came to my mind was, no, he's more successful than you. Copy for right now, and you'll get your own style. And actually, was just watching.
Tell me one of you. I like it, man. And I'll tell you where. But what is your question? And by the way, I already have so much to like. I want to jump in, right? But do you have a question for me? Because I don't know if I have a question yet.
Yeah. So the first question that I had, and I had about like 3 or 4. But the first one was, why do you call it revelations?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, my friend, revelation. Okay, so look, there's a lot to it. That's probably some of my. Do you know on my ankle I have the words? Do you know about the tattoo on my ankle?
No, I guess so.
Okay, so that tattoo, it says, "To speak the truth in the line of liars," okay, is a declaration of war. That's a tattoo. Okay. Now I first learned it that, I don't know, I got deep into this writing stuff, journaling and stuff in 2018. Okay. And without some of this journaling and stacking and all this stuff, I probably would have not made it through 2019. My dad died, business failure, a relationship failure. I was just family problems, man. I was just in dumps. Like, I remember one of the things I wrote was at that time was like, I think, and this comes from memory. It's there on Instagram, but it came from my memory. It's something like, in your darkest moments, I hope that the warmth of your smile pulls you through, or something like that. Like, in your darkest moments, I hope that it's the warmth in your smile that can pull you through. So I was in a pretty dark place, dog. So does that make sense? Where it was like just the smile alone was pretty much getting me through.
Yeah.
Just a smile, right? And so that's why I say you ask very deep questions. You might be like, what does that have to do with revelations? What does that have to do with it? What does that have to do with it? Look, man, in a way, I wouldn't be on this video without the revelations are a confession. They're a confession into the world. They're a confession into the world as to what I am realizing within myself, and I am just speaking the truth. Now, now, remember, there's a tattoo on my ankle, and it says, "To speak the truth in the land of liars is a declaration of war." Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fully aware of what I'm doing
You're declaring war.
against that which is not the truth.
Right.
Right? And so that's why when you asked about the revelations, you caught my attention, because I want to know what sparked your interest in them. Not me and you train, right? We've
Mm-hmm.
trained and you've gotten 20 pounds of muscle, 23, but I'm gonna round it. You got 23, 22.9 or something like that. Yeah, pounds of muscle. Granted, success, that's a success to me, in my metrics, considering that you were, remember when we met, you were part-time, just 2 times a week, eating only the cafeteria food. Remember, those were your boundaries. If someone said,
Yep.
what was Chance's boundaries? He said 2 times a week, only cafeteria food. I'm here to study Spanish.
Yep.
And as a coach, it was like, that's Chance's boundaries. That's what he gave us. Okay.
Right.
Fair enough.
Right.
Okay. So I'm wondering why you are interested in these revelations, because again, clearly, if I have a tattoo on my ankle, and I'm not a Mr. Tattoo guy, look, I'm not Mr. Tattoo guy.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know why you're interested in these revelations, because it's like, wait, what caught your attention?
Right.
Go ahead.
So it's actually one of my revelations that I've written. And I'll spare you the quote for now.
No. Don't do that. Just tell me the fucking quote. Go.
Okay. Well, let me look it up right here, because I don't want to misquote myself. It's in here though. I don't have too many just yet, obviously, but it's the conquering of one's own mind may very well be the greatest accomplishment anyone could ever achieve.
There you go. Okay. So Chance Orwick. Okay. Now I want to interject for a second. Nothing to do with your writing, by the way. Nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I love what you wrote. I love it. Okay. So the reason I put my name on my stuff is only because I wrote it. And it's a way of branding it. It's not an ego thing. Like it's more of a, just give me my credit or don't.
Sure.
Like, just don't take my stuff and be like, I wrote that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That has nothing to do with, it's not a, it's not a, and I feel sometimes I wonder if that turns people off, like the name there, my name there. And it's like, I mean, there's and so that is the only calculated cost that I have to sort of deal with. Like, that maybe people read it and they're like, this guy thinks he's all that because he quotes himself or whatever the fuck. And the thing is, like I said, the only reason I do that is just so I get my credit. It's not, it has nothing to do with ego. Like, does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Like you wrote, you wrote that, like you came from a place. Now let's just say if you broke that down. Like the other day I wrote, pressure is a currency. Pressure is currency. Okay. Pressure is currency. Now everybody wants currency. Everybody wants power. Everybody wants wealth or whatever, affluence. And to an extent, even the churches ask for money and 10%. Like, so I'm not saying anything crazy. This is the truth. This is the truth of the world. Okay. So when I wrote pressure is currency, if somebody were to be like, no, it's not. It's like, I want my name on there because I understand. See, it comes with two sides to it. Like, people might see ego to it, but it's also like, no. Go ahead and I'll take responsibility for those words.
Yeah.
So see what I'm saying? And so I understand. Anyway, man, it's a very deep process, but I'll be happy to show you the process. But go on, tell me about your revelation. Tell me about why you wrote what you wrote, or what were you thinking? And I think we'll probably find a connection. Why did you write? The conqueror of one's own mind is one of the most, and see, I don't know what word would you use? One of the most what?
Could very well be the greatest accomplishment one could ever achieve.
Yeah.
Or anyone could ever achieve.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I totally get it. Now, why? Why'd you write that?
Well, I'm not sure if you remember this, but it was one day you and me were working out, and Josh wasn't there, and you were specifically, you were kind of teaching me, and you were talking to me about a whole lot of stuff. But I remember specifically on the box squat, there was this really powerful moment. It was whenever you showed me that one song, and I don't really remember the name of it. But you squatted down into the rep, and then you stood up and you said, "That's for all the car wrecks." And then you went down, and then you got back up again, and you said, "That's for my dad." And you stood, and you went down, you got back up again.
Yeah, that was the belt squats. The belt squats, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, remember that one? Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And I saw two different Jacobs in that belt squat, and I saw this Jacob going down that was weaker, that was taking all those beatings, and the Jacob that was getting up was the stronger one, saying, "No, I'm going to dominate you." And so that's where I think that, it's that mind that you're conquering. And I think that that's the greatest thing, because we are, as humans, we are masterminds of lying to ourselves and making excuses. I've watched almost everything you've posted on Instagram and read everything, and
you don't engage with it though. You don't engage with it, so I don't know if you read it. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I've deleted Instagram for a while now, just because I can't handle it. But when you talked about the chocolate almonds.
Okay, go ahead. What about the chocolate almonds?
Because you talked about the chocolate almonds, you said that, like, I did all this cardio all day long, and I got some chocolate almonds, and you said I was making excuses, just to kind of use your words about, like, making excuses, we're masterminds of lying to ourselves and deceiving ourselves to think that we're perfect, or, oh, I wasn't wrong in that scenario, or whatever the case may be, or like, oh, that guy over there, he's a hypocrite. Whereas we're all hypocrites all the time. It's part of being human. So that being said, I noticed that you had accomplished this. Another thing along the lines of me and my obsession with words is, well, this is another quote that I have, and it's actually a longer one, but essentially the idea of it is that we all speak different languages. So Mark Cuban speaks differently than the broke dude down the block who is selling you cigarettes at the gas station, right?
Of course, yeah.
Happy people speak differently than unhappy people. Successful, unsuccessful, stressed, unstressed.
Yeah,
all those things.
And so at the core of this, and since you're hitting it right on the head, so right there, you're dancing around the subject. Right there, you're dancing around the core of this entire conversation. You're on there. Like, this is it. Watch. You're there, man. You're there. You're there. Watch. Here it is.
Yeah.
It's the stories, these words that are in our brain, in these stories, like, I'm good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm a beast, I'm not a beast. These stories are in there, right? I'm a successful investor, I invest, or these words, man, they're in there. And the more that we are managing these stories, as funny as it is, man, the more that we manage these stories, the outcome changes. The outcome literally changes.
We manifest our truth.
Yeah, because the words are changing your emotions. They're changing your behavior. They're changing the outcome. So the core of this conversation here today, if it's the mastery of these stories, man, and the revelations. And here's the kicker, and here's why I took the time to do this one. It's like, look, man, I've been writing these revelations since what? I've been writing stuff for years. I started on 200. The reason, just so you know why I started on 200, is because I wrote way more than 200 in the previous. I just started numbering them at 200.
Okay.
So it was like, let me keep track of this shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all that was, man. The revelation number, it was a way of saying, regardless of what the like, regardless of the validation I get from others, it's irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
It's, do I have the courage within myself to keep speaking the truth? Do I have that courage every day?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer, if what, I can only imagine those that people that like look at me and sneer at me. You know, I can only imagine. You know, Revelation number 600. Fuck him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think people are pretty sweet, and I tend to get along well with people. I don't think any one person really feels that way or that negative towards me. I don't. I'm only open to the potential that they have to
Yeah.
exist, right? Because it's like, I don't know, but none of when it's, I feel it's a part of my duty, bro. Like, it's not, I'm a coach, right? So I have to coach. Like, it's not, imagine if the plumber didn't get up and work on plumbing.
Right. Right. Right.
Does that
You're
make
fulfilling
sense?
your duty as a coach. Yeah.
Right. And if you could see it that way, look, my relationship and coaching and everything with you in the end is the core of my joy. It is the core of my what, when the chips fall and they're like, and I have to address face management, or a girlfriend that wants to know what I do for a living, or look at myself and be like, what have I fucking done with my life, right? It's coaching, man. It's like the connection to sincerity and being like, look, here we're going to go from point A to point B to point C. And in that moment, like I said, that's why look, man, when I do stuff like, hey, let's do a measurement and you're 20 pounds of muscle up, I don't really necessarily, yes, I want you to love it. Yes, I want you to be proud of yourself. And yes, I know you want more, right? All those things are true. My joy comes in delivering that moment. Like, where it's like, look, man, you wanted this. Here it is. I hope that makes some sense, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So what do you feel, man? So you've gone 20 pounds of muscle and you want more, right?
Mm-hmm.
You weigh 170?
Um,
170 today.
it's been a while since I measured. Actually, since my sleep
I just
has
weighed
been
you
getting a
today.
lot
I just
better.
weighed you today.
170. Okay. I think I measured myself the other day. I say the other day, probably about a month ago when I was like 175 ish. But weight fluctuates.
Okay. Well, look, man, how tall are you?
Five, like 7.5, 5'8".
Look, dude. 25 more pounds of muscle. You'll be pretty happy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
25 more pounds. Like, right at about weighing 80, 95, 195. I'm at 204, bro. Like, I'm at 204. I wouldn't want to be heavier, bro. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to probably be 198, 197.
Mm-hmm.
I used to want to be 215. I've been up to 250, bro. So, like, yeah, I chased a lot of mass. So anything that I have now, I got the benefit of sometimes going deep into the deep end of the ocean of that 250 dirty bulk, that
Mm-hmm.
I've gone to that 250 range, bro. So some of that muscle maturity does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
muscles coming from your muscle. Okay, you just entered the beach, right? Think about it like that. You're entering the beach. So you got 20 pounds. Yeah, you're deeper in than when you at the shore, correct? Can you
Yeah.
visualize this? Yeah, you're deeper into the ocean, right? Is that you have to understand, I've come from the depth and coming back. That's the
Yeah.
difference. Does that make some sense, bro?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And that's the
That's
only,
actually that's actually like a much smaller question that I had for you, not nearly as deep as any of the questions about the revelations, and I still do have a couple as far as that goes. But because I mentioned to you that I'm going to be doing this Aaron, the online training with him. So let's say, for example, I am 95% dialed in with my sleep, 95% dialed in with because I'm asking you specifically, because you have no financial gain or incentive to like sell me something, right? So just like from your, and also you've got to know me as far as like my body over this last year and a half. So let's say that because for the last year and a half, I haven't really been sleeping well besides the last couple months. And my nutrition isn't really going to take off really well until I sign up with him, even though I've been getting better day by day. And then obviously he's going to be tuning in a program for me. What do you think I can expect? Again, like I'm asking you because you have no financial incentive to try to sell me this big old number. Let's say that all the three major foundations are 95% there. What do you think would be a reasonable number for lean mass gain over 4 months span?
In 4 months?
Because I don't want to be disappointed by putting a number too high, but also don't want to undershoot myself and, tell myself a number lower than what it is and then not work as hard, if you see what I'm saying. Like I want to have realistic.
First answer this question. How well has it been lately? How good have you been eating lately?
I would say I've been eating pretty good. I just want to get cleaner carbs and I want to be able
are you still at the whims of the cafeteria?
Not so much, no. I probably eat there like 3 times a week now. I'm really starting to get my own like cooking down. I'm cooking like on anywhere Saturday, Sunday, or Monday.
So when did that start? When did that start, the cooking on your own? Because that was not the case for most of my time knowing you. You pretty much were always cafeteria, maybe an occasional protein shake or something.
Yeah. So
when did this shift start?
Like the first week of September of this year. So a couple months now.
Okay.
So yeah, this was all kind of my master plan. I had mentioned to you that I wanted to start out slow and then slowly get more and more into it. I think I told you this before. I said I'm going to start out with 2 and then I'll go up to 3 and then from there. So, I've now, what you have definitely really fulfilled your job as a trainer. You said showing me that number, that plus 20 pounds, that's amazing. But you've done something way, way, way more impactful than that will carry me on literally until my deathbed. And it's that you have drawn that point. There's 2 points here. The gym is beneficial for you, and here's where I was. You drew a line between that. I didn't understand that before. And I actually remember where I was. Tell
me, break that down for me for a second. What do you mean the line? I know that on very many levels. That's why I'm saying. I know what you just said on many different levels. So what did it mean to you?
It meant that before that you had taught me this lesson and I had understood it, I was going to the gym and I was saying, I have to go to the gym. I got to go to the gym. Oh, got to go to the gym today. Let's say that I'm going on Tuesdays. I'm looking at Sunday and thinking, I've only got one more day to myself and then I have to go to the gym. You changed my brain and the way it looks at the gym. And I would look at Sunday and think, man, maybe I could just find an excuse to go Monday too, And so I went from I have to go to the gym to now I get to go to the gym.
Right.
And so it was completely just flipped on its head. It was before homework. Now it's a privilege.
Right, man. Right.
Yeah.
That's, you're gonna get big, man. Let's look at these next. Look, you're on course because you are a young guy. Your priorities were handled. You had a plan, bro. That's what I'm saying. You say the word try to implement, but you attacked. You had a plan and you attacked. You came here wanting to learn Spanish. You got a girlfriend, learned Spanish, and you stuck within your boundaries and you stuck to the plan. Not just anybody does that, man. And so I'm saying, like, and you managed to get muscle, 20 pounds of muscle as a second priority or third priority.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'm saying, so to me, you are right on track, because look, man, when I met you, I said to myself, how do I give this guy textbook grade A training that I can put my name on and say, this is to the T. This is, and so you remember we started with you with proprioception or unstable surfaces, rebuilding you. You remember you were on, very, very light weights and stuff like that. Just remember I said, I say things like, remember, this is day one for you. Right.
Yeah.
And so looking back, think about day one, you're on a stability ball, just doing some squats of maybe like 5 pounds.
Yeah.
Think about where you are now. Right. And so looking back, that's like a silly little warm up, maybe. Right?
Yeah. Literally.
Right. And
I was
so,
pouring sweat.
yeah, but at that time is what you needed.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you needed. Right.
Yeah.
So for you to be here, it was to stay in the boundaries and give you the science needed to just so that we're here. You're 20 years old.
20. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You're 20 years old, 20 more pounds of muscle than in, and Spanish. And so what I'm saying is, when I think of you, I think you're slightly impatient, only in the sense that you're going to have to prioritize muscle more if you want more. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And so for you, it hasn't been your priority. Like realistically, mm-hmm. like if you're honest with yourself, it really hasn't.
Sure.
Has it been a priority? Yeah. Mm-hmm. But this is the last maybe 3-4 months, like where I could see that you were like coming to the gym since you came back. Since you mm-hmm. came back from Oklahoma, then I could see, okay, this guy's coming here more than twice a week, maybe 4 times a week. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? And then I could
sometimes 5, yeah.
Yeah, and I could see a shift. Then I saw a shift. And then right now I see ambition. Okay. Yeah. And so now you're more ready to grow. Like you're more, because you got the 20 pounds down. But see, if you didn't go through that process of gaining the 20 slowly here, and maybe you're injured, maybe you're not getting it, you're just frustrated, it's just too complicated, and now you're like, well, screw this, man, this is not for me or whatever. So you're in a very fertile place right now. You're an extremely fertile place. And that's what I'm saying. You're right on track. To me, you're right on track. Because look, man, the objective is to be training fucking awesome until you're 50. It's 60.
Yeah.
Like, so that's what I'm saying. Do you see what I mean by impatience? Where it's like, bro, you're going to be at this for a fuck ton of time. Like, okay, I don't want to work out today. I don't want to do legs today right. Mm-hmm. And I just kind of flirted with the idea of not doing it, knowing full well I was going to do it. Mm. Yeah. Think of this lifestyle, bro. It's a privilege for it to grip you. I'm in a privileged situation for this. But see, but watch. Some people might feel bad for me. You understand this?
Yeah.
I get it. I get why they feel bad for me, bro. I do get it. Look, like, I'm not married. I don't have kids. People feel bad for me, bro. Like, they're like, damn, poor Jacob, and I'm just like, but okay, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. I've gotten to dial into the mastery of my mind, into the mastery of my body, into a career path that I chose. And I've gotten it for it to fuel me and calm me and consume me. You see?
Yeah. So, just like that quote that I wrote.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So some people, so you see some people hear that and be like, that man is so scary. Like, that man is very scary. Like, he lets his career consumes him. Like, like he's obsessed. Like, I get it. But to me, it's a privilege because, look, my dad, my aunt, she died, bro. An agonizing death, I heard. She was overweight. My dad died of diabetes. Look, bro, I'm going to show you something just so you understand. This is my dad in an urn right here. Okay. Did you see when I did that? Did that put things into perspective a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, the reason I showed you that is to, like, if you, let's say you, Chance, if you were to say, let's say if you were to say this behind my back, I want to give you permission. If you were to say the following behind my back, I'd be fine with it. Are you ready?
Okay.
There's a guy whose dad was overweight and it scarred him for life, and he like set on this journey to like fix that within himself and never be like that, and like just remove obesity from that cycle in his family. Like, that's the man. Like, that's why he's like that. If you said that behind my back, I'd be totally okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
Yeah.
sorry? Did that is that taking enough masks off? Like, does that make sense? Like, is that taking enough masks off?
It makes perfect sense. It's the same thing from, hearing all the stories about generational poverty and one guy saying, I'm fed up with it. I'm going to create generational wealth. It's the same thing.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Mhm.
saying. To me, it's a privilege for it to have consumed me to this degree.
Well, and to be successful, all the successful people are consumed with their work like that. You're not
But
going to be
it's,
consumed with something and not be successful.
that's what I'm saying. It's scary to people to be that consumed, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay. And I give all glory to God. I could not achieve anything without God strengthening me. Like, this whole, if you really read what I post, I'll always be like, meditate, meditate, meditate. Why do you think I'm doing that? Is it because I'm no, bro, no. It's literally me. Like, at one point, man, the meditation was, I like to say, and at one point, the meditation was my lifeboat. It was my lifeboat off the sinking ship. Okay. So now it's a way of expanding the mind. Yeah. Anyway, man,
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on all that? You nail it, man. You're a smart kid, man. You nailed it. That's it.
Well,
This
that's the
generation.
last thing. That's the last thing that I said to you right before I left off for the summer to come back. No, remember I told you, I said, make sure to keep on getting those gains. And then I stopped and I turned, but then I was about to walk away and I stopped and I looked back at you and I said, but not just physical gains. I pointed my brain. I said, mental gains too. And I walked away and I noticed that you caught that.
What did I tell you at that
Um,
time?
I think that you kind of just shook your head in like a recognition, like I just caught that. And I don't think you really said anything. I think you just kind of shook your head. But
Yeah, man.
but yeah, and like the same thing with what you just said with conquering my own mind. Um, it has to be a conquering of the mind kind of thing. And I noticed that you had your mind conquered. Um, at least, and maybe not entirely conquered, right? Because I think that even the most conquered mind on its deathbed won't be entirely conquered, right?
Right. There's always
Uh,
like how do you describe that? The inconquerable part of it. To me, it's like this friction, or this like the the energy. It's like a nervousness within. Like, it's literally deep within. It's literally like almost like electricity deep within the fibers of the brain. Because does that make sense? Like, it's deep shit, dude.
it's the brain knowing what's safe and what's comfortable because that's the easiest to survive, right? Because biologically speaking, the body wants nothing more than to produce offspring and survive. Like the body doesn't necessarily want to go to the gym and feel that burning. And and we might have created that in our brain, like I said, the conquering of the brain, right? Like you changed my brain to associate the gym with growth, right? Whenever I said that you drove that line, you helped my brain in that conquering and took one step forward. But survivally speaking, we're kind of just more geared towards comfort. Like if you think about cavemen, like it's a whole lot easier to just kind of sit around the cave and just find the nearest cave woman as opposed to climbing up a cliff, you know. Because I would say that's probably some of it. But also,
Yeah, that was
I
good,
don't I
man.
don't want it to not be there. I don't want it to not be there because whenever you think about winning the game, well, once you've won the game, well, what do you do with any Xbox game that you win? You just go buy the next game. Well, you can't really go buy another life. So, I'm in it for the long haul,
Yeah, man. No, you're on the surface. You're in the game very much so, Mr. Chance. You are playing the game well, bro. And to me, I'm very proud of your growth and be part of it on a physical level, like, or anything I've ever helped you get any access to as your coach. I'm very proud to be part of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, to me, and again, please keep saying better than I deserve. Please keep saying it. You've already told me it's your conviction, right? I just want you to know, once again, just for maybe anybody that chooses to watch this video longer, my thing against it is just like, I don't know, man, you're putting a lot of effort into your life for you to say you don't deserve it. Again,
Right.
remember, it's a split. It's that, look, I've put a lot of work into my life, bro. And I've had losses, big losses, like painful fucking losses. Okay.
Right.
Okay, look, here, just so you understand that I'm not joking. Just hold that thought. Ready? I'll be right back.
Yep.
Okay. Look, man, this revelation I wrote, I'm going to put this on a Yeti cup. This is a Yeti cup. I'll likely get this done for myself for Christmas or whatever the hell. Look, this is a revelation. See how it's written? And this is revelation number 240. Okay. Now, before you again, I understand, bro. There's always Jacob's quoting. Like, chill, watch where this fucking thing came from, bro. Look at the price I paid for this shit. Look at this is the most expensive fucking revelation. Fuck, man. Right here, bro. And I'm just giving it away to people. Now, you could be like, screw Jacob. He's stupid. I hate him. I'd be like, I paid the price, bro. You can tell me I'm full of shit all you want. I didn't have to share this shit. I did not have to. I chose to, and it felt good to do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Before I wrote this, my dad dies. A company I spent 7 years building tanks, and it's like, was supposed to go to like the moon, is like, nah, done. Just that one alone was already, dude. I drove to get a bottle of vodka, bro. I don't do that shit. I went to go get a bottle of vodka. It's like, dude, what the fuck am I gonna do? Okay, do you understand?
Yeah.
Dad dies. Family problems. I don't even want to see. I don't even say what the family problem is. Family problems.
Yeah, I recognize it. Yeah.
Okay. See, I don't ever even elaborate that one. And I'm telling you, my dad died. So imagine that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, bro. I'm like hanging on by a fucking thread to life, bro. I'm like, fuck, I'm done. I hired a therapist, bro. Okay. Just, you want to know where these shits come from? I hired a fucking therapist, bro. Because I knew I was going to make it okay some way, somehow, right? But I didn't know how.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what the therapist tells me? He says, well, Jacob, it seems the universe picked a person that could deal with this kind of thing. like basically like, damn, bro, like this one's kind of hard, bro. Not gonna lie. He basically told me that without saying, like, bro, this one's honestly kind of fucking hard, bro. This one's the hard one. I totally get why you reached out to it, like, and I did it I did not want to hear friendship bullshit. I just wanted someone to just be like, hey, dude, am I okay? Like, am I gonna be okay, bro? I'm fucking freaking out here. Like, it's not right. I don't feel normal, man.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, man, you're gonna be fine. It's just your fucking your identity's gone, bro. Like Jacob, as you knew him, is kind of broken. He's done. And he said to me, there's gonna be a rebirth and there'll be a new Jacob. Fucking told me that shit, bro. And you told me, and all I could tell you is he was right. He was right. But now, in between here and there, this is what I write. This is what I wrote. Trust the process. So now you know the backstory, right? See how a lot of people don't hear that shit. They didn't. This is okay. Trust the process. The challenges, the drifts, they never stop coming. Eventually, the strategic systems of thought, the strategic systems of thought and behavior we develop within ourselves overpowers the system of chaos around us. In essence, we outperform chaos. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm saying, in essence, you outperform chaos. You are literally, it's like you and chaos in a race. You are literally outperforming its consumption of you. Interesting, right?
Yeah.
If entropy does not kill you, you evolve. Death. Remember, my dad had died. Death is the royal flush of entropy. You know what a royal flush is in poker?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an unbeatable hand.
Yeah.
Death is the royal flush of entropy. Like, once that one gets you, for the sake of this conversation, the game is over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Till then, the game continues. There you go. Revelation 2:40. I'm going to put that one on a Yeti cup. Yeah. Why do you think that one's special? Why do you now that you know the price I paid? Remember, bro, my entire identity's fucking broken, bro. It's over, dude. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
Game over. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had two, and you said you wrote that before all this, right?
No, after.
After. Yeah, I would say there's two really impactful statements: the trust the process, and the death being the royal flush. You know, those are two. They almost sound, you know, they're in the same breath, but they almost sound contradictory. But they're still, you know, like this yin and yang of trust the process or royal flush. Trust the process or royal
Bro,
flush.
yeah, that's it. You got the fucking writing. That's
Mhm.
exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, motherfucker, are you saying? And it's like, it's a mind fuck, right? Because you're kind of like, if you ever hear me people tell people, I'll be like, drive safe, like it's this, okay, it's this, bro. It's that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, bro, we're in this process. Some of us unaware of it, some of us are not. We're pushing. You're there. You're gonna be a nurse. You're gonna fucking be a doctor, right? You're fucking in the game. You're process. You're fucking pushing, expanding, dieting. You're gonna get muscle. Blue wins, losses, girlfriend, blah, 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 blah. Ups and downs, chaos, fucking inflation, Biden this, fucking people crossing the border, fucking racism, and this is coming, and it's coming, chaos, and that's you in the center, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now it can take you, and you're done, bro. You're done. Or you can have a faculty within that says, this is what I'm about. Like, this is my truth.
Mm-hmm.
And that if someone had to tell me why do I have a tattoo on my fucking ankle? What's the fucking point of the revelations, man? It's this conversation. It's this, like, come on, man. Like, in the center of us, you have to understand, bro, it's almost as if this whole world is trying to fight this reality of like, deep within you is the truth, bro. Right? Deep within you, you have it, you got it. And you wouldn't be in this conversation. You wouldn't be in stirring the pot in this conversation if you didn't know it already, bro. The thing is that like, it's controversial because it's like the world doesn't want it out, man. It doesn't, it doesn't want us to be so certain. It doesn't want us to be like, are you there?
Yeah. I just got a 20% battery warning. I'm good.
Yeah, that's fine, man. So yeah, man, the world doesn't want us to be like, okay, there you go. There's why it bothers me you say better than I deserve. There's what it is. That it comes from that. Like, it's like, maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but it comes from that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know it, and you know that about me, right? You do know that that's where it bothers me.
You told me before. Yeah.
Is that making some sense now? Like, please say all you want, bro. Please, like, be rebellious. Be like, fuck Jacob. Like, I would love it if you understood me fully and you still were like, fuck Jacob, better than I deserve. Like,
yeah.
I just want you to understand. To me, I feel that comes from the people that do not want you to be aligned with your truth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it bothers me. Like, it's like, man, like, how? Because I had to overcome so much, bro, just to get what I deserve. That if I said better than I deserve, I'd be like, I don't know, bro. I paid some pretty fucking heavy prices to have what I have, to do what I do. Like, I paid a lot, dog.
Yeah. I mean, it's understandable. In fact, because we've had this conversation a couple times, the first time we had this conversation, I stopped saying it. And it's actually like my phrase here on campus. Everyone says like, oh, Chance, you always say that. I stopped saying it for about 3 days. And I remember I thought about it, not because I was doubting myself really, but just because, there's a healthy amount of self-doubt, is always beneficial usually. And so I thought about it, and I really thought about what you said. And I realized
what am I trying to get at, man? Say it. I want you to say what I'm trying to tell you about that. And please go ahead. I know you understand me. I just want you to verbalize
it. I guess you're afraid that it comes from the whole the cultural undercurrent of white guilt.
There you go.
Yeah. The whole white guilt thing. Like, I'm sorry that I'm so pale, that kind of thing, that you have to apologize for your skin color.
Because on some level, there's people that would like to hear you say that.
Yeah. Oh, there's plenty of people out there with very loud, influential voices right now
that would love to hear you say, but look at the amount of effort you put into being you.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, is to discredit yourself, is to give almost your head on a platter to them.
Right.
And that's it. That's all. If you choose, go ahead. I'd love to hear why, after hearing that, you'd be like, nah, man, trust me. I'd love it if you could still, I would love it if you'd be like, nah, man, it's the best thing ever. I'd be like, fuck yeah, dude. Trust me. I'd be happy for you. I would. Yeah. I have friends. To me, the best of friends are those that can hear me out, understand my point, and still do some stuff that I'm like, nah, I don't get it. But please tell me, go ahead. Now that you heard, now that it's out, go ahead. Now tell me.
Yeah. I would definitely say that I'm very familiar with that culture and that way of thinking that you're referring to. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I thought about it. I didn't just dismiss it. A couple different things. So the first thing would be that I choose not to give credit or credence to that group of people because they have lost their, what would I say, like the privilege of my attention. They have not given themselves that kind of validity. Therefore, I'm not going to let them affect me in that way.
Yeah.
Everyone gets that kind of validity from me.
I love it, bro. It's a classy move. It's a very classy move.
Yeah. Not necessarily like shouting back at them, because otherwise I'd be lowering myself to their level. more so just, oh, you're not for me, and just ignoring it, like high school drama. I never got it. Um, Genuinely, it just never really was a thing in my
I
life.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
That being said, I thought about the root of why I began to say it, and it came from someone who I have the same values as. So it wasn't coming from, some kind of, BLM, large, Twitter following activist. It came from someone with similar values, and I really thought, okay, am I better than I deserve? And at least for right now, this might change in the future because you're much older than me and you have worked for things and overcame a lot of things. I've overcame a couple pretty difficult things, but I'm still pretty young. Just to see myself, and when I look in the mirror, man, honestly, I only see my parents and their hard work. Um, you know, I would say that, it's to know that you are in my life, Jacob Adams, that you're in my life, and that my parents are in my life, and that, this great school with all these great people are in my life, and, you know, all these amazing teachers and tutors, all my great teachers at home that I grew up with, all the great friends who eventually stabbed me in the back. But, up until that point, they've given me a lot of memories, and I'm not going to, throw them out of my brain and say that they were terrible people just for one bitter ending whenever they gave me so many good memories. I can definitely say that for me personally, I can arrive to the conclusion that, on a day by day basis, I'm better than I deserve for all those great people and all that work that they put in, that more or less, honestly, you can say by fate or destiny or whatever, I was born into, just from a privileged standpoint, and not from a white privilege standpoint, but just from, maybe some call it luck or whatever. It has nothing to do with politics though. I have a great, incredible family of hardworking people, and they're honest, and they've made a really respectable name in our town. And I just kind of am there with them. I don't consider myself to be better than anybody else. I consider myself to be a fairly normal person
Yeah.
who's been very lucky and very blessed to be around great people. And
Awesome.
I just have the role of soaking up what they have.
Yeah. I love that so much, man. And I think that just witnessing you say it and break it down, it is like I said, I knew I would love you continuously saying it. I knew it. I knew it. I was like I said, I knew. I knew. I
Yeah.
knew. I knew. Yeah, I was like, oh. Okay, look, nobody's going to do that long,
Right.
especially knowing me and the relationship that I have with you as we
Right.
and with the conversation we've had. And so today is like better than I deserve. And I was like, mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep. There it was. I was waiting for it. We both knew it was coming. There it was.
But like I said, I think that, look, man, here's where I agree with you. Here's where we're similar. There's not a day that goes by I don't thank God for every breath, every second. This moment now, that right there. Like literally that right there, that one right there, that second one right there. Like and that one.
Mm-hmm.
You get me?
There's a lot of meditation in that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, that's where we agree.
Yeah.
It's to me, maybe it was not maybe. I always love that you said it because I know where it's supposed. I know it's supposed to be from a place of gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
It just, because of the climate, the political climate that we're in.
Sure.
That's where it was like nails to a like scratch board. Like that's where I was like, oh, please don't say that.
Yeah.
because you being white and saying that, it was further. I was like, I hope he's not saying what I think he's saying.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And if you deserve, maybe you deserve an apology for that or whatever, but I think you understand what I mean.
Yeah. Especially with the weird culture of, the valley, and it's the valley specifically. I've noticed that it's either like, because the South generally is conservative, and especially because there's a lot of ranchers and farmers around here, it's a weird mix of like, there's a lot of really conservative people. Then there's also, because it's such a big city, and big cities generally do have, you know, the more left leaning politics. It's a weird mix of like pretty conservative, but also pretty progressive at the same time. So I see how you caught that whenever I said it. Um, but I definitely do ponder it often, and I continue to ride to the same conclusion that,
No, no, look,
with all the
listen.
great people that I've been given.
I
Um,
think I love it, man, and I hope my prayer to you is both. I have two hopes for you.
okay,
I have two hopes for you. One, that you continue to say it. Remember, I did say get rid of the word try and can, all that shit.
right, right,
This one, I hope you continue to say it because of the sincerity within you. That is your truth. That is to speak the truth in the land of liars, the declaration of war. Now,
right.
going back to that, you see how immediately the fact that you spoke the truth of your heart, you see how it immediately evolved the conversation, like immediately.
Yeah,
You saw that?
yeah,
Okay, that right there. That is the whole point of the revelations.
hmm.
That is the whole fucking point.
The advancements of knowledge,
Of consciousness.
consciousness. Yeah,
Yeah. And I don't know if I'm too of the muscle dude. I'm too much of a muscle dude or whatever.
hmm.
That people sometimes see my shit and they're like, fuck him. Does that make any sense? Like
Well,
they kind of they kind of expect me to be like a I don't know, like a
yeah,
not a written person. I don't know, like don't write shit,
yeah.
Jacob. Don't write philosophy, bro. Fuck you.
Yeah, I've noticed a pattern with again, everyone speaks a different language. So I came here, you mentioned a couple times in conversation, I came here to learn Spanish, right? I've noticed this though over the last year and a half. Spanish is one language of an infinite amount of languages. Every individual person speaks a different language, and I've noticed in your language, in your vernacular specifically, you have a habit, and I like it, of you'll say like, okay, just today, you mentioned something about like, I can't remember exactly what you said, but it was our conversation about like, oh yeah, I think I mentioned something like me saying like, oh, this is my poison, and I continue to come here because of that, or something like that. And you said some people would ask me, well, but why? And then you would say, and you said something like, yeah, exactly. And then you like shrugged it off, like, oh, exactly. And I've noticed that you do that a lot. Like you kind of like, it's entertaining that you allow the ignorant people who don't get it and don't speak the language to just sift themselves out. And then you're just like, yeah, I won't waste my time with you. And that's where I choose to continue to say I'm better than I deserve, because I'm not going to give, because I truly believe it in my heart, and I'm not going to give the validity even to the point where I'm going to change it due to the political climate, right? Like even though I truly believe it, and if I were to think in my brain, oh, the political climate says this, it might appear this way, therefore I won't say it. No, just like how you
What?
say,
Go ahead.
so just like how you have said in the past many times, like, yeah, yeah, like you kind of do that sometimes with like, yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, exactly. You didn't get it. And then that's it. You know, it's kind of the same,
I know
rhythm.
what you're talking about. I just wish you would have remembered the situation. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know exactly. I do that. I'm just saying I wish you knew which point I said it today so I could be like, okay, that's how he caught it. Because I do
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
I don't do it's never planned. It's sort of like a yeah.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. It was something like, I got up in the morning and I looked at my body, and I think it was something along those lines. Like you said, I looked in the mirror and I was happy with it, but I still wanted more. And I came in, and some people thought, well, you're happy with it, so why come in? And you were like, exactly, that's it. And then you kind of like shrug your shoulders, like you don't get it. And I like that. It's like we don't speak the same language, so I don't have time for you. It's the same thing.
You got it.
So
Yeah, yes. Yes. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I know the situation. I know why I was saying it. Yes, I do that. I do that. And some
yeah,
people read
I
that
like
as
it.
some people would read that as arrogance, man. And look, man, to anyone that's ever called me arrogant, man, I'll say the following. There is a level of distance that to achieve a certain discipline that you have to establish within yourself that others are not willing to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that level within the self that you need to go, it can be considered elitist or you better than me. And people hear that. People hear
Mm-hmm.
that. But there's no other way to get there. There's
Right.
no like you're gonna go be a nurse and then you want to be a doctor. From remember, you want to be a doctor, right?
Something like that. Yeah. And
Okay. So
doctorate.
let's say this. Let's say this. You have every potential to do it. That you can do it, man. Like you're young. What the fuck? Okay. You have the potential. You're a smart guy. You got what it takes. Like motherfucker, like you. Okay, you can do it. Okay. So what's gonna stop you from doing it? It's people, it's toxic relationships, it's drugs, it's partying, it's lack of inner and that lack of like push within. Like, I'm not bullshitting with you, dude. I'm not gonna bullshit with you. And that can come across as arrogant.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well, I
does that
mean, like you said today, you said just watch out for stupid people.
does I sometimes feel like you don't sometimes I think that you don't understand how much confidence I have in your trajectory. That I feel like you sometimes think, look, I analyze things kind of sometimes quickly, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, Chance is fine. He's got his head on straight. Like, and I'll kind of do it real quick in my head. And I think that sometimes I witness you like almost like, does he not see me or something? And it's
Mhm.
like, no, man, like I see you so well that it's like, well, oh, it was like me saying, oh, but, oh, you think I don't see you? No, no, no. Like I see you. Just don't listen to stupid people. Then you're fine. That's why I'm not there. That's why I'm not so concerned with you. Because
Yeah.
you're fine.
Right. Yeah. That's one of my other revelations. Actually, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was stupidity only yields more stupidity. Avoid it like the plague. And that was one of the more ones
Say
that
that one again.
stupidity only yields more stupidity. Avoid it like the plague.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's the
So
challenge.
that,
But that's the challenge.
yeah,
That's going to be your challenge, man.
yeah. And I would say that up to this point, I've done a pretty good job of avoiding it.
You were raised with a lot of fundamentals, man. So you're pretty set. Like
Mhm.
you're you're pretty set in your ways and your fundament. Like you have a lot of foundation, dude. I think
Yeah.
I think you've got even more set than I met you. When I met you, I feel you were a little bit more whimsical. You had a little bit more openness to like losing some of your foundational strengths.
Hmm.
Some of the stuff that was already implemented in you, like the church upbringing and stuff like that. And I think that, like I said, some like you have to understand, man. Look, and I'm gonna be very blunt here. Like some people would hate you talking to a guy like me, bro. Like they would fucking hate it.
Yeah.
There are those people, like, because I'm from an older generation that I'm basically look. What I'm saying is this. Watch, check this out. This is why they wouldn't like it. Me, Jacob, I'm from an older generation ahead of you, right? That's
Hmm.
established. Yes.
Yeah.
There's a generation above me. Okay.
I see where you're going with this. Yeah.
Okay. And they right now would be happy that I'm saying, good, Chance, you got the foundation. So there's foundation upon foundation saying, stay on this course. You have the
Hmm.
understanding, right?
Yeah.
Now, imagine the people that do not want foundation.
Hmm.
They would fucking have a field. They're like, no, like, no.
Yeah.
Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. It does.
Because we're basically, there's a hand from the past pulling you forward this way. Like we're like, it comes from all the bodybuilding, all Arnold Schwarzenegger, all that fucking shit, fucking Constitution. Like we're like, yeah, he's one of us. Bring him over here. Do you understand that?
Yeah, completely.
And so
I mean, there's not only a hypothetical group of people that you're talking about, there's a very loud group of people that you're talking about right now that are constantly doing it. You know, the people that are, you know, tear down the foundations, literally what the word you just used, foundations on foundations on foundations. You know, what a year and a half ago in the middle of the summer was the main topic of the radicalist group that, you know, got a whole lot of popularity because of some emotional 15-year-old girls on Twitter that wanted to seem cool. You know, they were all talking about tearing down the foundations and defund the police. So it's more than a hypothetical group we're talking about here. It's a very real thing that needs to be stood against.
Well, again, listen, man. I'm shocked beyond. It's dumb. When I say stay, your challenge is going to be avoiding dumb advice. It comes from like, there's so many people your age that are like, just like, it's almost like, what? Like, okay, what? Like, they're making life so much more difficult on themselves because it's like they're questioning everything, like every single morsel of their fiber. Like, well, it's like, so you don't have any foundations? Like, there's nothing there. There's no, let's say you go ahead and humor me. You're a very smart person, and I already know you, Chance. I already know you. Humor me. Okay. What is the benefit of having absolutely no foundation? Like nothing. Like, in other words, I was born a male. There. Simple foundational truth, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there. What's so hard about that? Why is that so fucking, like, that's what I'm saying. There's a generation coming that they want to question like every single fucking aspect of being, like every single aspect. Like even gender, like you were born this. Okay, no, maybe you're several. What's the beauty in that? What's the whole benefit of questioning every single fiber of potential?
Well, there's two different questions there, I guess. Like, what's the benefit of questioning everything? And then what's the benefit of not having any fundamentals? So I'd say that the easier one to answer would be, what's the benefit of questioning everything? And that's because throughout time, like a sifter, you know, you're not going to get all through the first time, but constantly re-questioning, you know, well, how do dictators get in power, right? No one questions them. So, you know, with constant questioning and constant checking, we can establish and reestablish what's good and get out what's bad, right?
Sure.
So that would be a benefit of constantly questioning everything.
Every single thing. Okay, fine. I'm gonna go ahead. So every single thing.
Right.
Okay, like, fine. I just wanted to be clear here. I'm not saying some things. Of course.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be clear. We are saying every single thing.
Sure. Yeah. And so, like, the benefits of having zero foundation whatsoever on anything, I would say the scary part is it's what it all ties together, right? It's all one big value system. Do you ascribe to this value system or this value system? There's actually one of my revelations I'm working on right now, and it's actually kind of a long one. It's not finished yet, so I can't really, you know, spoil anything. But the benefits, and I struggle to even say the word benefit, but the people who subscribe to this are most likely also subscribing to communism or Marxism or socialism or something along those lines. And that all also has that subcurrent of everyone is equal. So that would be the drawing card. If I was to try to attract you, I would say, hey, There's no fundamentals here. We're all equal. We're questioning everything. So come over and join us, And so I would say that would maybe be the calling card for it. Just thinking out loud.
It's almost like a party. You're saying like the party? It's like a party. Like, come party with us.
Yeah. Like come join our side. There's nothing established. We're all free and independent, and we're all equal. And
interesting. It's almost like it's almost like a new version of hippies.
Yeah, like techno hippie kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I get that vibe though. I do get the vibe of like some of it is just designed to be the new wave of this. It's almost like let's try this.
Yeah.
And I told you about that, how it's like everything has been done, so it's like not this.
Yeah. We talked about that one day on the bikes. Yeah. Well, and then equally, like
not with, this.
I bet you haven't tried this before. Yeah.
It's like, you win, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember when we were laughing like, you're right, bro.
Yeah.
You have
right.
You have far more rebellious streak in you than all of us.
Yeah.
We drew the line there.
Yeah. And then also on the
that was awesome. That was an awesome moment, bro. That was probably the epitome of our laughter. Like, you win.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, like whenever you think about it, like, so that's like the extreme left right now as far as like how far can we push it. And there's two sides to everything. So like the extreme right is how can we nail everything down and nothing whatsoever change?
I don't know, man. So I don't know that is that right still out there? The whole I don't even, what I don't know if that right is out there. Is there people that weird? Is there that weird in the right still? I don't know, man.
And definitely where I grew up. I mean, for
like
sure,
the
religious system, like nothing changing.
Okay, like no potential new like anything.
Well, I mean, of course they're extremes, right? So I'm not going to say that that's like the entire right, but that's why they're called extremes. So if we were to say that the entire political spectrum is 100%, 50% over here is leftist, 50% over here is the right side, I would say there's a 1% over here and there's a 1% over here that are calling for these things.
So you're like a rebel where you're from, in a way. You're like,
oh yeah, for sure. I'm the ugly duckling, the black sheep. Yeah, I've never fit in.
And you're just and here you fit in because you're a very decent individual.
More so, yeah, but I'm still, I'm the white guy in the valley who he speaks a little Spanish, and then even then, usually whenever you see a white guy speaking Spanish in the valley, it's like, oh, what's his first language? But it's not my first language, so I'm
here's what I'm from here, man. So I'm gonna tell you this. I don't think people dislike you here.
Yeah, I don't feel that. I don't feel that at all.
You're a very likable white guy. Like you don't
like
you don't come across as like a snooty, stuck-up white guy, if that's what you mean. Like I don't know, you don't give that vibe at all. So if you did give me that vibe, bro, do you really think I would? You knowing me, do you really think I would allow it?
Right. Yeah. I'm not saying that. I'm more saying the fact that wherever I've went, I've never really fit a stereotype, I guess. And I'm very comfortable with that. I think that's why, that's why we're talking right here, right now. That's why I have my nightly journal that I'm doing every night before bed. That's why I bought this book for my revelations. It's hardback. And that's why I got this to write my goals in every day. And I specifically chose the moon with the stars just to kind of, the whole quote. And it's kind of cheesy at this point, but it's still a good quote with the whole aim for the moon. Even if you miss, you're going to land among the stars kind of thing. Yeah. Being intentional.
Chance, listen, man. I fucking love it, bro. Like, you're a sincere motherfucker, bro. Like, I think in talking to you, bro, and knowing you for months now, I think that you're, again, I would consider you an intellect. That's what they used to call people like you. For the sake of the construct, right? The construct is called an intellect. you are considered an intellect by the old methods. In other words, I don't fucking know what y'all fucking Generation Z calls y'all. Like from
There's
my
no
generation,
defense.
in my generation, you'd be considered an intellect. Okay. And the intellectuals, the scholars, you're part of the scholars. Okay. Like we're a thing. Like the scholars are a thing, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're the holders of light. Like they hold the light that is passed on, torch to generations. Like it is a thing, bro.
Right.
Okay. Like, okay. One of my, remember, I think I told you about my asshole professor that people hated. And
Yeah.
he, you're a sorry lot, you're a sorry lot, all of you, right? Remember I told you about him?
Yeah. Hey, I'll go ahead and let you know. My phone's at 7%, but I'm prepared to talk until my phone dies, but just letting you know.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. So look, we'll do this. So here's where it comes from, man. He tells us, look, do you know we're in college, bro? He goes, do you know what a scholar is? So he's basically like, do you guys even know why you're here? And he's like, and I'm gonna kind of put things into perspective so that you can kind of understand where you have to, when people say the foundation and just rocking the entire foundation of stuff, you have to understand on some level what the fuck they mean. And it's almost like, no, you're insane. No.
Yeah. Right.
Because look, so he goes, you are scholars, and it comes back from the time of Aristotle, where people would go into a cave and learn from professors. Okay. And that's what it is to be a scholar, is to add to the he's getting mad at us, bro. He's like, your job as a scholar is to add to the enlightenment, to the education of the world, to edit and add to the education of the world. Like he's basically
decades of added information and layers of generation
of knowledge to propel the human race forward.
Right.
Like that's what it is to be a scholar.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying, do you not understand that is why you're in this room? And basically, motherfuckers,
mm-hmm.
like wake up. You understand that? And so what I'm saying is, if that's a lot of foundation work to take us here, so when I now give you the question, another intellect, what is the benefit? Tell me, humor me. Do you see how I set that up for? I'm setting that up for you to almost challenge you, and yet allow your at bat, and see if you can swing forth the idea that this is a thing worth listening to just eliminate all the foundations and start from zero.
Mm-hmm.
See how I gave you that space?
Right.
That's what a scholar does. And you're from that school. That is why we get along. Mm-hmm. Like you may not know that you are, but you are.
Yeah, I definitely came up in the fundamental, in that fundamental scene. So I'm definitely from that school of, conserving the past and reverencing those before.
Yeah. Well, I know your phone's dying, bro. Did we answer the question about the revelations? It's a deeper process than that, but I wanted to give you, it's a very deep process, man, to get each one. I already wrote one for today. I'll post it up here in a bit. Why did you get rid of your Instagram, by the way?
It was just taking up too much time. And it was building a bad habit. That's one of the revelations I've written. It basically was essentially an admittance to myself that I'm imperfect and that I need to work on myself, and that I'm too weak to keep Instagram on my phone right now without just, passing too much time on it. And I just said, no, I'm too weak right now. And what I need to do is I need to delete it. There's some people who can move it off their home screen. They're fine. I can't. I tried it and I couldn't do it. So
I like it. I like that you're this way. Yeah, man, you'll be fine. You're going to be fine. Like I said, avoid those that do not honor that I would say avoid those that you're a little mature for your age. I think that about you, not because
I always have been and never fit in for it.
Yeah.
I
think
brings its own unique problems.
Yeah, you're kind of mature for your age, so just be careful not listening to those that don't understand. I'm an adult, so I get it 100%. But you know, I'm sure if I was your age, I probably wouldn't get it. I'd be like, like you know what I mean? Like, I always knew what I know, but when you're younger, you kind of like want to fucking party and just do whatever. So I don't know. You just, I'm proud that you're this disciplined man, and you know, yeah, man. Any last thoughts before we go?
I mean, not necessarily. I would love to continue the conversation in the future if you want to do this again.
Of course, bro.
I would like to dig in more to, I guess we already got why you started it. I'm not sure if we ever got into exactly why you started it. I remember you mentioned whenever it became really prevalent in your life, but I would like to get into like why you started in the first place. And I think that has to do with the Cavs story, if I'm not mistaken, but then specifically how it's affected you from then and today, and how it helps you on a daily basis. So I would like to get into that in the future.
Here, I'll leave you with a little bit of the answer now. Look, every revelation comes from being honest with myself and searching deep for the truth within. There's usually something that upset me, or some kind of emotion that set me to look within the self. Usually, if there's a trigger, there's a wound. There's a saying that goes, where there's a trigger, there's a wound. Now, if something triggers you, the drift is a gift. That's the concept. The drift is a gift. But you have to look within and see what it's pulling you. Why is something bothering you? So it's sometimes if you dig within the self, each revelation, like the one I showed you, 240, right? I dug in so deep within the self to pull that out. But once it's out, and we go back to what we said in this story, this beginning of this, once that becomes the primary story, the primary thoughts. Now, remember, there's an entire wounded Jacob that just wrote that. He's lost everything, right? But that wounded Jacob, deep within himself, understands that he just wrote. So at my weakest moment, there was the strength already permeating. Makes sense?
Yeah, it does.
And so
you created something at your weakest moment that it's one of your most proud pieces of writing.
And I'm basically saying, you understand? At the weakest of the weak, when I doubted every single fucking second, I still had systems within myself, systems of behavior, habits that were outperforming chaos still at that moment, that I said, just because the chips are down, I'm basically saying, doesn't mean I'm not outperforming chaos, bitch. And that was the like, what? I'm outperforming chaos even when I'm fucking losing? And you understand, those that were against me, think about how they would have loved them to just focus on that. Like, yeah, Jib, you lost everything. You lost everything. You lost everything. But how you would look, yes, you're right. You're right. My dad, relationships, money, fucking family issues. Yeah, right. I'm in the fucking shit, right? Yeah, right? Yeah. Yeah, Jacob, that's right. You feel like shit, right? You lost. Yeah. And even in my fucking weakest, dude, I'm still outperforming chaos, motherfucker. Do you understand why it's a revelation? And so if you can, and now if someone were to say, well, Jacob, what's it worth, bro? Is that worth anything? Motherfucker, I'm at my weakest. And I'm outperforming chaos. Is that not a revelation? Like,
yeah.
Right? Okay, so watch. You see how I write them? It's almost, to speak the truth in the land of liars is a declaration of fucking war. It's like, imagine those that knew my pain. Imagine. And I'm just like, I don't need you to like it, bro. I don't need the like. As long as it impacts the brain and hits the heart, the little heart on the Instagram don't mean shit. Is that starting to connect?
Yeah, for sure.
Did that make sense? Did that make some sense to you?
Yeah, I definitely did. Yeah, there
You're
was a couple.
it's not the heart, the little
Mhm.
that's not as important to me as your heart. It's not as important to me as your heart. Is that making some sense? Is it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it does. Well, talking about languages, right? The Some of the most obsessed people with those Instagram hearts are the unhappiest. So if you're speaking that language of how many hearts and comments did you get, you're already speaking the language, not of Mark Cuban. Back to my metaphor of the gas station employee. So I'm definitely recognizing what you're saying.
My $1,000,000 question is before we go is this. Of any of those revelations, did any of them connect with your heart? That is the most important thing. If I wrote any single one of them, just one,
Mm-hmm.
and when you read it, when you landed, there was a moment, a sacred moment where it fucking like some kind of reaction in your heart, in your mind. Was
Mm-hmm.
there any of them?
Yeah, for sure. Well, specifically with I'm about to get to yours, but like, there's actually, I would love to talk about this in our next conversation, but there's been like 7 or 8 revelations of my own that I've written that are like word for word things that you're saying almost, not word for word, but like really close. It's actually kind of spooky. But yeah, I would definitely say if you remember, and I mentioned this to you like 2 or 3 times now already, but I mean, I'm going to continue to say it because it was so impactful. Whenever I was coming to you and I was telling you like, hey, Jacob, I'm not entirely sure that this program that you got me on, is completely ideal. And I've been listening to this podcast and they say that you can do a whole lot better with this program. And so I'm thinking about doing that. And you checked me, and I'm glad you did, and I look for those kinds of people, and I hold on to those kinds of people who are willing to check me like that, because those are the kinds of people who are really wanting you to grow. And you said, why are you so worried about optimizing your programming whenever you're not even sleeping 8 hours and if you're not even eating the best? You said there's 3 parts of this pyramid, essentially is what you said. You said there's 3 foundations and you're obsessing over one of them and trying to get it better, and you don't even have these other 2. And I remember we were talking about this and you were on the bike and you eventually you ended we were talking about the pull-ups, the daily pull-ups, and about how I was pretty much lying to myself and saying it was hard to do it and it was too inconvenient and there wasn't a place to do it. And you just ended it with saying like, do the pull-ups. And that was it. You just said do the pull-ups. And there was a lot of wisdom in that. And it taught me a lot. It taught me a whole lot about just daily, just getting to it. It doesn't matter if, I don't feel like it. Doesn't matter if I'm tired. It doesn't matter if it's 10:30 at night and I need to go to bed right now. You still got 3 more pull-ups to do. Do the pull-ups.
Yes, that's
Do the
exactly
pull-ups.
right. That's
Do
exactly
the
right.
pull-ups.
Yeah.
And so right whenever you said that, I started doing them, and I haven't missed a day since. I've been hitting my pull-ups, pull-ups, these last couple of days because of my shoulder.
How many you out at a day? How many do you have a day right now?
So obviously before the shoulder, like the last couple of days, I've only done like between like 4 and 6, just keeping it really light with limited range of motion. I've been hovering right around between 12 and 16 a day.
Yeah,
I've been slowly going up.
And I want you to get to 100 a day.
Yeah. I started out doing 5 a day.
Yeah, and it's just your body's going to change dramatically once you hit 100 a day. It doesn't have to be once you get to 100 a day. It doesn't have to be like every single day, but yeah, there'll be days where you hit 100, and then Wednesday, Thursday you take it off. Maybe, but you're gonna the pull up. It's what it will do to your mind and body to just. You don't have to always do it, always, but yeah, it's gonna change your entire chemistry, your central nervous system, everything, and it's just it's that strong guy in there. It's that strong guy, and it's like, what do you mean? You haven't met him. You haven't met him. If you were wondering, that's what you mean by exactly, right?
Yep.
That's what you.
It's like you don't. Yeah, exactly. And that's where you end it. What strong guy? Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that being said, a couple weeks into this pull-ups daily, I just held on to those words, do the pull-ups, Okay, you could talk about the programming and oh, this will be 12% more muscle growth over 6 months. Do the pull-ups. You can't do the pull-ups, so why are you worried about the 12%? Do the pull-ups. And so I like this when you said I don't like a whole lot of things on Instagram. I'll just see it and I don't really think to like it. But I remember thinking like, oh, I need to like this. After a couple of weeks, I was really starting to dwell on the fundamentals. And that's why I said that, I've been so consistent on my sleep. And you told me like, oh wow, you're doing pretty good on your sleep. And now I'm really trying to get good with my eating because of you saying do the pull-ups. And I've been realizing the 3 fundamentals. And you posted, I don't remember exactly what it was, but essentially you said you can tell the mastery of someone's craft by how seriously they take the fundamentals.
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
that one was definitely very impactful. And that was one that definitely jumped out to me.
Oh yeah, dude, that one. In other words, the fundamentals to a pro, they're gonna be so dialed in and just be like, and you're gonna be like, how'd you get to be a pro status? It's like their fundamentals, bro. Like their fundamentals are so dialed, they're obsessed. It's almost like just OCD.
Yeah.
And it's like, and everybody else is that just wants a quick fix. What is it? What is it? It's like, you are too good for the fundamentals. You are too good. You are special. You don't deserve it. Like you're just above the pro. He's fundamental guy, but not you. You get an out. Everybody wants the out, bro. But it's like, nah, bro. Look, these I'm gonna let you go with this, man. So these chocolate covered almonds here, I put them next to me just to feel, just so I could feel my relationship to that which holds me back. I just want to feel it. I want to dial in my relationship to it. The fucking the feeling of the
like temptation.
Yeah, I want to know. I want to dial that motherfucker in like to the fucking salt to the little salt crystal. You get it? And people like
I
Jacob
completely get it. Because whenever I was taking a cold shower every morning, I thought, what if I got crazy enough to the point where I just completely took off the hot knob off the shower? And I was like, no, that actually would be easier because it's more difficult every morning to sit there and look at that hot water knob and stare it in the face and say, no, I'm going to stand under this freezing ice water, like this ice cold freezing water.
Look, bro, I love it. If you understood that fucking crystal thing and the salt, you understood the salt, the little salt crystal. Okay, bro, that is lethal. You are lethal. Now it's just about expanding that, because here's the thing, man. Like, fuck, bro. Like, what do you mean, Jacob? The chocolate, the relationship? No, bro. Nah. That's gonna transfer into other areas that are holding me back. And that same neurotic, fucking insane, obsessed, dialed in guy, imagine him pointing at a target like, now get that. Now, does that make sense? Now he's gonna do Mr. fucking salt, pepper, fucking crystal of a relationship to chocolate. It's gonna be like, who? What? You? Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
What you said about like focus.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. It's that like, it's like, and therefore, if you want to play, it's like, let's play.
Yep.
Now you have a game on your hands, right? Now you have a game.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, I know you've got to go. This has been fun as hell. We'll do it next time, bro. I'm going to stop recording and then we'll say bye. So that you might feel a little. Stop recording. 3, 2, 1, done.